for choosing us now, as the choice is so broad where you could be at this very moment. I love that you're here. And we talked about the topic briefly this morning when we discussed trends. We mentioned blockchain technology, if it's a hype, if it's a trend, where are the use cases, is this really relevant to the industry? We did not dive deep into this, but we were thinking, let's invite someone that can really share use cases and show you there is some relevance to the topic for the travel industry for sure. So get ready for Navigating Tomorrow, Blockchain's Influence on Travel, Lessons from Camino Network Ecosystem. And I'm excited to welcome on stage VP Business Development at Chain4Travel, Anke Hsu. Anke, thank you so much for being here.
Hi,
I give you the clicker, the power, and the stage is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Leah. Welcome, everybody. Let's speak about blockchain and travel. And let's look specifically on the lessons that we can learn from the implementation of Camino Network in the travel industry. What is Camino Network? It's a blockchain-based infrastructure that is owned and managed by travel companies, where travel companies can build applications on. So now you might think, why should I even care about blockchain? Now we have several trends outside the industry, but relevant for the travel industry that are coming. Gen Z is coming. Gen Z travelers are coming. They're digital natives, social media savvy, and they look for unique experiences. And they want that the unique experience to find them in their digital world. Now, Gen Z is engaged in a lot of online communities. For example, Discord, right? Gaming. And in those communities, cryptocurrencies are pretty popular. 33% of Gen Z owns cryptocurrencies, and 60% dream of getting rich with cryptocurrencies. Gen Z is globally connected. So blockchain networks are globally established. They can help Gen Z to get connected. And Gen Z is very concerned about privacy. And they are looking to use wallets. About 80% already use wallets. And blockchain provides, as you can see here, a very safe form of wallets. You see kind of blockchain wallets, crypto wallets, MetaMask. What's specific about that, and we heard the presentation from Vikas, what's specific about that, it's the data is stored in the wallet, and we as customers, we log onto a website and then share the data that we want with that website, not the other way around, that we log on and the website collects all our data. So this is data privacy by design. Now you see another trend which is coming from the EU. The EU implements EU eID wallets, and they aim that 80% of citizens in the EU will have those ID wallets by 2030. So it's coming. It's very relevant. As we heard in the presentation before, it's very relevant for our industry. Plus, EU has another initiative. It's the digital euro. It's coming probably 2026, 2 years to prepare. And a lot of other governments working on CBDCs as well, Central Bank Digital Currencies. Now, going to another topic that everyone talks about, right? AI. So we think blockchain is AI infrastructure. Why? Because the data needs to be collected somewhere, and it needs to be verified. We need to have verified data to train AI model. Otherwise, we will have hallucinating AI everywhere. It's also important, and that was the goal of OpenAI, to have a community govern the AI use and development. And blockchain can help with that as well. AI, on the other side, is very useful to provide personalized offers, to analyze the data, provide personalized offers in the travel industry, and can help even to develop smart contracts, if then conditions that are used in blockchain networks. Now, coming to the travel industry. Now, we heard about the fragmented structure in our travel industry, that the customers experience this friction all the time. Now, this is the world that we live in today. Legacy systems, one-on-one connections, expensive connections, a fragmented IT world, fraud. We have like 25% fraudulent attacks in the travel industry. We have fake reviews. We have high transaction fees. Now, here you see a technology that brings a peer-to-peer network that can serve as an infrastructure, a blockchain-based infrastructure for the travel industry, where a travel company can connect to and speak with everyone in the network. The infrastructure comes with digital currencies, global digital currencies, which can help with lower payment costs. It comes with smart contracts that help automation. So it's an infrastructure that enables digital innovation for the future in the travel industry. So Camino Network, the digital blockchain-based infrastructure, went live last year. We already have 90+ validators that confirm the transaction in the network. And that's about the size and number of validators of Polygon already, for those of you that know Polygon. And the specialty about the blockchain-based infrastructure is that the travel company own that infrastructure. They take the decision. The validators form a decentralized autonomous consortium that take the decisions for this network, including the decision about the transaction fee. Now you see another number, 170 supporters share our vision, and you see the big brands there, but we have a lot of smaller brands as well. They all have the same vote in the consortium. And they're all already thinking about use cases. And Leah talked about use cases, right? So now we have that infrastructure. But now with the use cases that go into implementation, we see what is possible with blockchain. It's tangible. And I will show a few selected ones. This is the overview of what's possible. Trading, distribution, payment, settlement, loyalty, the big ones. But then sustainability, behind that name, sustainability, you have already a ton of use cases that you can implement with blockchain. And specific ones, interline agreements, demand generation. We identified more than 200 use cases across travel verticals. And we are working now on 40 to be implemented with the partners in the travel in the consortium within the next month. Now, one very important application that we are building on with partners in the network is the Camino Messenger. The Camino Messenger goes to the core of travel. It enables travel companies to search and book on Camino Network on this blockchain-based infrastructure. It's the onboarding tool to the new infrastructure. Why do we need this? As I said, we have many one-on-one connections, multiple APIs. Every connection is 30,000 euros to implement, right? So it's a lot of money to get the content, actually. We don't have any travel data standards across the verticals, which leads to high cost. Now we have a new infrastructure in place, peer-to-peer connectivity, and we will have a travel standard in place that will drive down the cost of connecting and enables actually, in a blockchain environment, booking and payment in the same time if that's needed. Now, it enables also new trading models. You see B2C, B2B, but now we get secondary marketplaces where a customer can sell to another customer or even back to the company if that's a good trade. So the ultimate goal is really that travel companies can connect to the network, to Camino Network, and then sell and source in the whole network and at minimal cost. How does that look like? It's real. You can see it, you can touch it. This is a visualization of what's going on behind the scenes. I said that we will have one global travel standard and different kind of message types based on what we know from each travel vertical. Hotel, flight, tickets, excursion, car rentals. So all a company has to do is to map their interface to that travel standard with a translator, kind of a translator, like a bot. And then the travel company can either search for the specific message type, and here you see flight only, or offer in the network. So here you see a search, or well, here you see a search. And that's we know how a search is done, right? So it's nothing different, but then you get the responses from the whole network. And it could be pages of suppliers in the network. Now you would think that could be done by an aggregator. Remember, we are in a network, so in an open network, everyone can connect to, and the network is owned and managed by travel companies. It's owned and steered and managed by validators in the consortium. Now, an additional advantage in the network, or with the Camino Messenger, is that the message size is much smaller because we use a different data format and allows for faster processing. Its smaller size means lower cost. We can also, in a blockchain environment, monetize search traffic at a minimal cost, but manage look-to-book ratios. And we all know we have a problem with look-to-book ratios sometimes. And then all message types allow upselling. Now you see the result coming back from the search, and now you can upsell. You can put on alcoholic drink, alcohol-free drink. Means you're free to sell any kind of ancillaries on Camino Network. Not restricted anymore by any legacy systems. So now this was kind of behind the scenes. Now we see what can be done with Camino Network and Camino Messenger. Fresh Cells is one of our partners, and they had an idea of a trip configurator, and you see it's kind of Gen Z looking, no? Going back to the trend. We need to have that unique experiences for Gen Z. And they were always hassled by this fragmented IT world and many APIs to connect it to get actually the content that they need to do a very unique trip. And they started now based on the messenger that removed that friction, that removed those costs of connecting, and built the Camino Trip Configurator. And you start with your destination, and of course your duration, your preferred duration. And then you create your very own trip to New York. And you can customize the trip very easily, drag and drop, with different kinds of elements of a travel. Of course, flight. And this can be customized by AI. Here you see, like blockchain goes hand in hand with AI. It can be customized and answers based on the data that the customer shares with that application. You add a car rental, transfer. You added a hotel. Now you can add an activity. Very easily based on that infrastructure, Camino Network, and the connector, Camino Messenger. Very own, unique trip for the generations to come. Going further, we have another application built by IT Compass, the visitor app. So we all know we have a ton of offers in the destinations, a ton of vendors in the destination, and it's difficult to have them bookable for the world, actually. And that's what IT Compass is doing with the visitor app. It makes those offers bookable via blockchain, via the Camino Network, and provides platforms, regional platforms, or mobile applications so that actually all those different vendors get visibility and can be booked. Plus, they can supply all those offers now to the Camino Messenger. So a small cabaret in Freiburg could be booked by a tour operator in Singapore, for example. That should be possible in the future with the infrastructure that we are building global. Now, this is a very different use case, broadening your horizon, because we come from booking, search, book, booking, and ticketing, and now we go into a very different area. And I want to take you to the airport, and we all know when the aircraft lands, a ton of suppliers is coming and deloading the baggage, cleaning the aircraft, fueling the aircraft, uploading the baggage, and we all know there might be delays. And today's world is that it's not really transparent who caused the delay, because there's manipulation of data, etc., etc. So now we have actually 3LC Consulting, and Daniel is in the room. They developed an application based on Camino Network, where we use Camino Network as a single source of truth. And all the activities are tracked and time-stamped, verified by another supplier, so that actually in the end you have a true picture of what was going on during a turnaround of an aircraft. And this is in test phase. And you see here, you can select sequences and select the airport. And then you see the turnaround sequences that are relevant for you. You could be a supplier, could be an airport. And you select your sequence. Now, Zurich, New York. You actually have the aircraft location, geolocation, so you can track all the devices around that location. And then you have the scheduled activities, cabin cleaning, loading, catering loading, etc. You have the raw data that is documented. And then you have the actuals, the actual time, what was going on, the actual activity, what was going on. And you see the red ones, they are the delays. And this is immutable, stored on Camino Network, on blockchain. It can't be changed. You can see the record here, it's a proof, and you see it on Camino Network. So single source of truth, and it helps a lot of people to avoid discussions that don't need to be held because you have the data at hand. Now, these were just a few examples of what is possible. And you saw like the whole picture of use cases, the 200 that we are discussing. And I want to invite you to come to our next hackathon, because we see that a hackathon can really expedite conceptualizing and development of use cases for a company. So the next one is, it will be the biggest one, Web3 hackathon in travel, will be in Berlin at the end of April. And it's enough time to prepare and think about use cases, and then come to that event and actually get something tangible at the end of that event. So we saw that with other hackathons in the past, with their touristic Lufthansa. We had a use case around sustainable fuel incentivization and tracking after 3 days. Yet another dev weekend in January. Michael Buller from VAR said that was on one weekend as much innovation that we didn't have in the past years. So that's the opportunity. And now you see all the names of our supporters, 170, that already engage with Camino Network. And this, I think this is one of the lessons. We see that companies that engage early, they make the headway. They can leverage this network to find the IT expertise they need or build that themselves, or they can actually, in case of smaller companies, they can actually do business in this ecosystem. So we saw quite a few cases of smaller companies getting into touch with big brands and providing them and working with them jointly on beneficial use cases on Camino Network. And then ultimately, of course, exploit this technology. As we saw, you can cut cost, you can boost loyalty of your customer, you can approach Gen Z with a different technology, and ultimately increase revenues and margins. If you want to know more, please come to our booth in Hall 5.1. Thank you.